Hello my lovely Misfitians and welcome back to another Let's Chat video. So there's a couple of things that I want to talk about in this particular video. The very first thing is that the course inside of Watercolor Misfit Land, the one that is only going to be $1 for a short amount of time, basically the series on YouTube plus a lot of extra benefits and stuff like that is available now. So if you want to purchase that for just $1, go ahead and sign up. You can get in. We have pretty much fixed all the bugs, some of the email issues and all of that we had to fix this week. That should all be up and running now. So you can get in there, check out the new course, binge watch all the videos that are going to be in the YouTube series, as well as get the drawing template, extra videos, and whatnot. I'm going to leave a link down below if you're more curious about that particular course. I go over it in depth in this particular video, so make sure to check out that link down below if you are interested in that. So now that I've got that covered, let's jump into some questions that y'all asked on the previous video, the benefits of tracing video, and specifically the supplies that I use and some thoughts about some of my tracing experience with these said supplies. So the very first question that I got was, what type of light tracing table do you use? I use a pretty expensive one. I'm going to be completely frank and honest. I use something called a Porta-Trace. So it's right here. This is stainless steel. It has a little button here to turn on. It has even a little thing where you can tilt it. I have actually had this, believe it or not, for 20 years. I've never had to replace the light inside of it. I think back in the day, I spent about $75 on this. The price has increased thanks to wonderful inflation. I think now it's about $90 some at Michael's. I bought this at Michael's craft store, but I think you can get this at other places as well. When I purchased it at Michael's, I used a 40% off coupon. Sometimes they have those for regular priced items or even a 30% off now. So that brought the price down a lot more for me. I feel like the price is worth it if you can use that coupon. And plus that it's lasted, like I said, for 20 years. If it's the same type of quality that they had 20 years ago, it's heavy duty and it really lasts. The reason why I like this one better than some of the tablets, I actually purchased some of the cheaper little thin tablet ones that were going around online. They're like more in the range of $20 to $30. I didn't like the ones that I purchased because I felt like the light wasn't bright enough for me to get, to basically see through the watercolor paper. I think it's great for like regular paper, if you're trying to transfer through drawing paper, even mixed media. But when you're working with higher end quality watercolor paper, such as 140-pound watercolor paper, a lot of times I will work on 300-pound watercolor paper if I'm doing larger paintings. I found that those aren't bright enough to be able to see my sketch. I was really struggling to see my sketch, even in a dark room. So maybe there's one out there that is really good with watercolor paper. If there is, please put comments down below about the brand that you use and specifically why you like it, because I would like to find other options for y'all and be able to give basically examples and show like, hey, this product works really well or this one doesn't. But so far, the flat kind of ones, I have not been able to find one. I've only bought two, but I have not been able to find one that was able to shine bright enough for me to see through my watercolor paper. So that's one reason why I really like the Porta-Trace. However, If you can't afford that, use the window. I used that for years. Like I said in yesterday's video, I used that for years because I couldn't afford a tracing table. I purchased this when I was in college working with, basically I had to do a spread of 50 different drawings, and I needed it to go really, really fast. And so I made the decision I need to buy a tracing table to make this easier on me. For that particular project, I had a huge art project that I was working on at the time. So I made the decision to purchase that in college because of basically art. But that being said, if you can't purchase that, don't worry about it. Just use the window tracing hack. It's free and it works. The only thing is you are dependent more on the sun and sunny days, and also your hand can get a little bit cramped up because you're more at an unnatural position, but it's not that big of a deal. Use what you have and be creative with it, you know? That's what really art is all about, using what you have and creative in different ways. And so, yeah, those are my thoughts on light tables as well as the one that I have and that. Another question that I got was, have I used the Col-Erase or the Col-Erase, the easy erase pencils? I do. I have a lot of those actually. I bought a full set. I started with red and blue because those are the ones that typically a lot of artists prefer, and I really love them and I fell in love with them. Excuse me, my voice is going. So I love them and I completely fell in love with them, and I bought a complete set. I'm looking at them right there. They're right in front of me. I bought a complete set of all the different colors, and I do use those when I am sketching in my sketchbook. So the colors, when you saw me looking at my sketchbook, with my fox drawing in the tracing video, those are done with Col-Erase red. And I absolutely love doing that. They're really nice to erase. That being said, even though they erase very, very easily, especially when compared to color pencils, they still leave marks when you're working on watercolor paper. So I played around with them with watercolor paper, and a couple of times I made mistakes and I needed to erase. I want to say this too, I am very much a perfectionist when it comes to my drawings. So if I feel like the nose, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, if I feel like the snout of my fox is not the way I want it to look, I will erase and redraw that thing for 30 minutes to an hour. I am very particular about how I want my drawings to look and what creative aspect that I want them to look like. Like usually in my brain, I have an idea, and if it's not exact, and I mean not exact meaning a certain point, a certain roundedness, like I'm very particular about my drawings. So I have not, even as a kid, I have not been the type person who can just draw something and then be kind of happy with it and then paint it if it's not exactly what I see in my head. Some people and some artists can draw something down. It might not necessarily be exactly what they see in their head, but they're okay with it and they just move on. That is one reason why I really like tracing. I kind of have an obsessive OCD almost, compulsion to have my drawings look a certain way. So a lot of times I will set aside a lot of time, usually at night. That's why I don't usually film a lot of me just drawing, but a lot of times I will set aside a good amount of time, like an hour or two or even 3, to just work on specific drawings and just continually push them out. So that's why tracing really works well for me, because I can basically morph those drawings into what I want until I'm really happy, and then transfer those to watercolor paper the way I see them in my head. That being said, getting back to the Col-Erase pencils, I really like them on mixed media paper. I have not tried them on hot press paper, but I wonder how they do because it's a smoother type of paper. On cold press paper, they still leave colored marks, so I would not necessarily recommend them. Another thing is they are more of a waxy texture. So when you're painting over them with watercolor, sometimes they can act as a resist. So that is the reason why I love to use, when I'm working on watercolor paper, these two. I use the Derwent, I believe is that's how you say it, and the Winsor and Newton watercolor pencils. For this particular tracing, I use the Mandarin Winsor Newton watercolor pencil. This comes in the 24 set. If you just want to purchase the 12 set, it's cheaper. You can use the red that's in that set, but I like the Mandarin better because it's more of an orangey red, and it matched better with my fox. That being said, I feel like the Winsor and Newton ones are better for line work. Their colors, their pencils are basically a lot sharper. You can get sharper lines with them compared to the Derwent. I feel like these have a softer lead. So these are better if you're trying to add watercolor pencil, I feel like, textures, and use them less as line work. You can use them as line work, but use them more as extra details with color pencils. I feel like these work better because they have a softer lead. So that's my thoughts on those two and watercolor pencils. Another thing that I want to say is all the supplies that I use will be inside of Watercolor Misfit Land. I created a whole list of those inside of there. You are going to see in a future video all the supplies that I use for the tutorial on the screen. But if you want to get access to that supply list early, you can go into Watercolor Misfit Land and get that. I'll go ahead and put links to these down in the description box, but usually I don't do that because I'm trying to basically I'm trying to put all of my supplies inside of Watercolor Misfit Land and just work on that. And then the YouTube videos basically are the links into Watercolor Misfit Land. Another thing is I don't earn commissions on any of these links. I used to do it for Amazon, but I've canceled that. I don't do that anymore. So unless you hear from me basically saying that I earn commissions on a link, the links down below are just me sharing a link with you. So there's no commissions or anything with that. And the same is on my website as well as inside of Watercolor Misfit Land. So if I share a link with you, it's just me sharing a link. I'm not earning anything from that. So yeah, I just wanted to be transparent about that. And I think that's about it for right now. If you have any more questions, leave them on this video or leave them on the video from yesterday, or even previous videos. I'll be looking at those and then answering questions in the Let's Chat, as well as going over more stuff. Oh, I do have something else that I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you what I was working on. Hang on a sec. Okay, I'm back. So most of you know that this is what we're working on right now. Let's see if I can get it in focus. With the fox, it's the little witch's hat. I'm going to teach you how to make that. But I am currently working on an extra Halloween item. I thought this was cute. So I'll share a picture of it closer up for you too, but this is a little jack-o'-lantern. I'm going to add this one to the course as well because I just thought it was cute. But I'm going to tweak it a little bit more. It's too big. I played around with it and put it on the illustration and it just looks overwhelming. So I need to squash it down a little bit and tweak it. But once I get this done, I'm going to put this up as well inside of Watercolor Misfit Land so you can make a little jack-o'-lantern with paper. Just like we're going to do with the witch's hat. This is just glue and paper and just some cutesy color pencils as well as gold paint. So that one's there. And then for Thanksgiving, I'm going to make, just simple little, I think I'm going to make them in a variety of different colors, but just little pumpkins. Cause I know not everybody celebrates Thanksgiving. That's more of an American holiday. So I thought if I did something more, fall-like, so pumpkins, that would work for more people. But I'm going to have a jack-o'-lantern as well as just an assortment of different little pumpkins that I'll be adding to the course as well. So that's what's coming. And then I'm also planning, I bought a whole bunch of paper, some Christmas ideas. I have some ideas for Christmas that I'm excited about putting together as well. So that's kind of what's going on behind the scenes in the art studio, as well as your questions and supplies that I used for this particular video. So hopefully that helps you. And yeah, I will see you next time, guys. Lots of love and bye.